Good afternoon and welcome to the Concrete Cowboy press conference. I'm Joanna Vicente, Executive Director and co-head of TIFF, and I'm so glad to have you all here today for this discussion of Concrete Cowboy. Here we are on day 4 of TIFF 2020, and it's been wonderful so far. Another notable sale to mention is the film Pieces of a Woman, sold to Netflix, and we had a lovely surprise appearance by Halle Berry via FaceTime on Shamir Anderson's phone last night at the premiere of Halle's own film, Bruised.
That was amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm Cameron Bailey, the artistic director and co-head at TIFF. It's been great to see films like Pieces of a Woman and Wolfwalkers and No Ordinary Man getting such great responses from audiences and critics. And right now, we've got another great one. Conversation with a creative team that made one of my favorite movies all year, really, Concrete Cowboy. We've got the stars of the film, Idris Elba, Caleb McLaughlin, Jharrel Jerome, Lorraine Toussaint, and Prattis. We're also joined by producer and famous director Lee Daniels and director of this film, Ricky Staub. We're grateful to all of them for being here today. And we're going to learn today about Black cowboys, about Philly, about how you make a film that moves people this much. This is a unique exploration of male relationships set within the context of Black cowboy subculture.
Moderating today's conversation is Kathleen Newman-Braymang. Kathleen is a Toronto-based writer and producer. She has produced many high-profile shows like The Social, E-Talk, Live at the Oscars, the iHeartRadio MMVAs, and Crave original series Cravings, The After Show. Her writing has appeared in Laney Gossip, Cosmo, Elle, Corduroy Magazine, and The Kid. She's currently the senior writer at Refinery 29, Canada, and a frequent culture commentator. So thank you and enjoy.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Cameron and Joanna, for that really nice introduction. I am so honored to welcome you to the press conference for Concrete Cowboy, directed by Ricky Staub. This stunning film, as Cameron just so eloquently put it, tells the story of family reconciliation amidst one of America's most unique subcultures, a generations-old world of Black horse trainers on the streets of Philly. At its heart, it is a story about the fragile relationship between a father and son, and its soul lies with the cowboy culture, Black cowboy culture, and it is so beautifully captures that world. It is my pleasure to introduce some of the film's incredibly talented cast and crew. And before I do that, if you have questions, to the left of your screen, you will see a chat box. Please drop your questions in there. Okay, this incredibly talented cast and crew. In his directorial debut, please welcome writer-director Ricky Staub, Concrete Cowboy producer, Academy, hi Ricky, Academy Award nominee, the esteemed Lee Daniels, and then the cast who give performances that you will be thinking about for a long time, performances of their careers. A man who needs no introduction, Idris Elba. And there we go, Caleb McLaughlin, like you have never seen him. The one and only Lorraine Toussaint, real life cowboy, Jamil, Prattis, and then Emmy Award winner, Jharrel Jerome. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Hey.
So good to see
What's
you
up,
all.
everyone? How you doing?
I can already tell backstage that you guys had fun making this film because you're all you all
because they're teasing me.
Yeah. There was a little ribbing going with Ricky backstage. So Ricky, I actually want to start with you because I read that you discovered the Black Cowboys of North Philadelphia one day while you were looking out your window at your office and you thought that you were hallucinating. So tell me how that moment led to you making this film and adapting Greg Neary's novel.
Yeah, so it was a striking image. My company, I have an office based in North Philadelphia, actually less than a mile from Fletcher Street. And I heard the music first, and then I saw this cowboy in basically a horse and buggy, but it was all huge rims, big bright red. We actually made one for the film, or remade it. But yeah, it was a very striking image to be in the middle of this neighborhood and to see a guy with a horse as a Black cowboy. And so I actually ran down and met him. I can't remember to this day who it was. And I'm surprised no one just claimed to be that person when we made the movie. But he was the first one that really introduced me to that culture. And I actually looked up, just did some Google searching and found Greg's book, but this was a long time ago, like probably 2012. And so I just kind of filed it away. And it wasn't until much later in 2017 where I met Eric Miller's, one of the cowboys who introduced me to Mill eventually. I was speaking in court, and Eric had been newly paroled and told the judge that he had already bought a horse. And so, yeah, it was crazy. We just struck up a conversation. He had seen the short film I made. I invited Eric and Mill and a bunch of the cowboys to my office, and we chatted about putting this film together. So, yeah, that's where it started. It's been a wild journey since then.
Well, congratulations. I mean, the film is spectacular, and it really does immerse you in this world that, you know, truthfully, I knew nothing about. Lee, you are from Philadelphia. How much did you know about the Fletcher Street stables before you came onto this project? And talk a little bit about why this story is so important to tell.
I didn't know anything at all about it. I grew up not far from the States. I don't know why I didn't know about it. I think that's part of the reason is I signed.
Oh, I think we lost Lee. I'm going to field that question over to the other producer on the panel then, Idris. Oh, here we go. Okay, sorry, Lee, continue. I can hear you. No?
Am I here?
Yes, you are.
It's very difficult to silence Lee Daniels. I don't know how you do that.
Maybe you can recover.
All right, Lee.
Shut up, Idris. Let's do this. Let's just do it. It is. I was blown away by the story. The story just took me to, you know, ultimately all of my movies are about family, Black family. And I was blown away by this father and son love story. And, you know, I have my own issues with my father, and it touched me. It touched a place in me that I wish that my father and I could have sort of reconciled the way that these characters do in this film. And so I was moved by that. I was moved by Philadelphia. I was moved by Black cowboys, because look, okay, I'm in. Black cowboys in the hood. What is that about? And then I was shocked, you know, because I didn't know that I saw Ricky's short film, and I did not know he was white. And I had and I was like, oh, this is he knows how to handle a camera. This cat knows how to evoke feeling. He knows he's a director. And so when I found out he was white, I was like, oh, okay. And I pondered, and then I said, I'm in.
Was there hesitation there? I'll go to Idris and Lee. That Caleb,
for a minute there was
that Ricky is white. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that was it. It was just
was
there hesitation.
For a second, then I thought to myself, what am I? Yeah, it was for a quick minute, but then you had to really think about it, because I was out, and then I thought, I prayed, and this is ridiculous. I'm in. This cat knows what he's doing, and so then I opened myself up to him, because not only was he doing something was he telling a story that was important to tell, but he was also in Philadelphia hiring people that the making of this film is as powerful as what you see, and I think that's why it's so strong. And Jharrel can speak to it firsthand, because he's part of the fabric of what this how Ricky seamlessly integrates the world of Philadelphia's and Philadelphia hoagies and pineapple soda into the cinema, and it's rare. So I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of all the actors that are in it too.
Yeah, as you should be. I want to get back a bit to the family dynamic here. Idris, you play Harp. He's an ex-con turned cowboy, and he's a really tough dude, but there's a lot of vulnerability and a lot of emotion there, especially with the relationship with his son, played by Caleb. And you've talked about how you drew from the relationship with your late father. And so can you talk a little bit more about the family drama that is the foundation of this film?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, there's always a few components to telling a good story and visualizing a good story. You know, from a visual perspective, you want to take people into the story and you want to immerse them. And you can do that with so many tricks now that you can bring people into a story. But when it comes to family dynamic, each one of us have a very different dynamic or perspective on the same dynamic. We all have fathers, we all have mothers, but we all have different perspectives on how that story plays out. And for me, the story between Harp and his boy is so unique in our filmmaking history, only because we see the struggle of a father and son from a very different perspective. We see them come together when they have no choice, and we see the son become a man, and we see the dad become a father. And that, you know, it really is a unique perspective. And I was drawn to that. My dad was always in my life. And, you know, my late dad and I had a great relationship, except, you know, we didn't talk as much as I had loved us to. And so when I was reading the script, I was in tears because there were moments where I wish I had those very special, delicate moments with my dad that I didn't have. So that really is the glue of this film, you know. And then added onto Ricky's brilliant and beautiful perspective, but B, the community of Philly, who is the biggest character of the film. We've got Mills here. Mills is a writer from Fletcher Street and became one of my best friends and closest friends on the set, without a doubt, because he was real. And also, he had never acted before, so we lent on each other to help each other just become as authentic as we can be for this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go to Mill then, because I would call you an actor now after seeing your performance in this film.
Heck yeah.
But you are a cowboy. So tell me about taking on this role and acting for the first time. What was the challenge in that?
It was a crazy challenge, but after a while I got used to it because who I was around. No lie, even Caleb and Jerome, I just was feeling real comfortable. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you pulled it off, the authenticity that you brought to the screen. It's beautiful. Caleb, I'm going to go to you. This is also a first for you. This is your first feature film, and you really carry this film. But I read that you were a little intimidated also to work with Idris and, you know, to take on a movie this size. So talk about what that intimidation was.
Yeah, I mean, like, who wouldn't be? I mean, like, Idris is a seasoned actor, you know, it's definitely going to go down as one of the GOATs of the industry. Just wanted to make sure I was on my A game and I brought what I needed to bring to the table. But once I was able to communicate with him and be on set and go over the scenes, I felt very comfortable. He made me feel very comfortable.
Yeah, you can feel that bond between the two of you for sure. And another bond that kind of is the glue of this film is between you and Jharrel's character. And so, Jharrel, I want you to talk about how you and Caleb developed that friendship and that bond that we see on screen.
Yeah, no, we didn't really develop anything. I'm not a big fan. No, I was incredibly excited to meet Caleb. We had met a few times just in passing here and there. I saw him on a plane once, and I was like, Caleb. And I was young, and it was just full circle for me to see him on set. But it's cool because when I got to set, I looked at Caleb the same way I look at Idris, and I do. It's two distinguished actors. I don't care how young Caleb is. He's really put his foot in his career, and he's really done it, and he's really shined. And just watching him and how he inspires his fans and how he inspires people inspired me. So when I got to set, I was nervous to meet this little boy. I was. And I remember thinking, I hope that I can do my part with this kid. And then when we got on set, I saw that he was, you know, I felt like I've known him my whole life. I felt like he was my bro from around the way the whole time. You know, he was a kid just like me, and we were both just making jokes, acting stupid, and it got me real comfortable. And then when I saw how nervous he was, I got to take on a little bit of a big brother figure for him throughout. You know, I got to really be there the way Smush was for Hope. I got to be there for Caleb, and he had a couple moments before we started shooting when he was like, "Man, I don't know," and it was just as simple as, "Bro, you got this," and he did. And I think the best part for me in this film is that I think Caleb grew up in a lot of ways doing this role. I think that it's a shift in his career. I think it's going to change him, and I think it's going to change his life. And I got to watch it, and I'm blessed to have watched it, because I really think that Caleb became a man doing this part.
Caleb, would you agree?
Wow. I mean, you know, I feel like I've learned a lot just being on the film. Like, I feel, because I would usually, like, moments like this for me is almost like my senior year in like high school, because I was homeschooled most of my life. So being on this set was definitely something that, like, I've learned a lot. I've grown, like what Jharrel was saying, like, I've grown into the young man that I am today. Like, I'm totally different from last year, like mindset wise, and just talking to Jharrel, even like offset, besides just, you know, going over the scenes, he, you know, we would just talk, just like real deep conversations, and like we really grew like a great bond. But no, I agree.
Lorraine, when we talk about cowboys, even in the name, it's very gendered. And it feels like, you know, from the outside, people would think this is a culture for men. But one of the things I love about this film is that the women are just as much a part of this world. So can you talk to what you learned about the women horse trainers in Philadelphia?
They're much more glamorous than you would think of prairie women and cowgirls. They are, you know, they're gorgeous. They've got nails and a lot of bling, and there's a whole subculture of women riders that I learned about, and we had several of them on set. And my character is actually a very real character in the community, and so you know, like in most women, Black women in our cultures, they, you know, they carry a lot of the load, and they don't necessarily get the credit. So I love that Ricky wrote these women into it in such a very real and profound way.
Yeah, same. I was really excited to see that. Ricky, talk about the importance of including some of the real people at Fletcher Street stables in your cast.
Yeah, I mean, that was always on the table from the beginning with Mill and Eric. And at the end of it, you can watch it and say, that is us. And in my opinion, there's no better way to do that than do it together. So yeah, I remember throwing Mill, putting those scenes together with him. And I don't know if you forgot that you were going to play that role, but we started getting into pre-production. I was like, are you preparing? You're like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, boy, you're good. This is your time. But yeah, I mean, it was, I think it added a ton of just texture, and I don't know. I'm proud of that in the film, to see that they got to be the voice of their film. It wasn't necessarily all captured by Hollywood actors. And I think that they all benefit from being together. Like, I see that in the way that, you know, Idris and Mill, their relationship particularly, how, you know, Idris was able to lift up Mill as an actor, and Mill was able to lift up Idris as a cowboy. And, you know, I always think about that scene around the fire where, that was a big scene, and they were just having a good time, like a real good time. And it was just fun to see that chemistry all the time on set. Like, I think it really added a lot of dynamic to the film.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about this scene because it was one of my favorites as well. And Lorraine, Jamil, Idris, and Caleb are in that scene around the fire. And Lorraine's character says, Hollywood has deleted us from the history books. And she's talking about Black cowboys, of course. And when I saw this scene, I actually thought of Old Town Road and the conversation that we were having about the erasure of Black cowboys, like, throughout pop culture. So Mel, I want you to talk to what you this film brings as far as awareness to your community.
Well, I knew that it was going to bring a whole bunch of attention, but what I wanted them to really see was the outsiders. Now they could look and see what's really going on. Now, like, kind of be inside now. And when y'all see this movie, it's going to be laughing and crying, but it's a lot of that in there. But it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, I mean, as someone who's actually in it, do you feel like the essence of your community is captured in this film?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great.
I need to thank Bill for the day when that horse stepped on my foot.
I was gonna ask about working with the horses. All of the actors, I guess except for Jharrel, can speak to this, but I read that Idris, you weren't very good around the horses at first. So can all of you speak to what it was like getting to the point where you had to look like you were trained cowboys?
Mel was giving you crap in that article, Idris.
I mean,
That horse stepped on my foot and Bill said,
it's all good. It's all good. He's telling the truth.
Wasn't none of them good. It's all right. They got there though.
Yeah, I was pretty good.
You know, just in defense, I'm allergic to horses. Okay,
Right.
I couldn't see what I was doing. You know, I
that was so
breathe.
funny.
You know,
You had to keep taking Benadryls.
No, like when he says he's allergic, he's allergic. We were trying to get through a scene.
But no, you know, without a doubt, Caleb was talking about this earlier. It goes beyond sort of just learning how to ride a horse, because, you know, very quickly you have to have a relationship with the horse. You have to have a bond with that horse. And even the horses, some of the horses were, you know, especially film horses, they very quickly understand who's riding on the back of them.
Yep.
And they understand you, and then you have to understand them. And, you know, you get assigned a horse and you train with that horse. And very quickly, my horse and I, you know, had to learn each other's rhythms, you had to understand my voice. But if I'm honest, you know, I was watching Mills and them guys all the time, just watching how they talk to their horses and how they relate. Because, you know, it was the horses that Mills have and the horses that were actors, it's a slightly different chemistry. And so, you know, Ricky was very clever about trying to make sure that we have real horses from the stables and, you know, actor horses, so that chemistry looked real, you know?
It did, especially between like Boo and Cole, like Caleb's character. It did feel very real, that bond you created. Was it, Caleb?
Yeah, me and Patrick got along very well, you know. Like offset, like at lunchtime I would go and, you know, give him some snacks, and I would talk to him and rub him. I remember rub him, nah, but sorry. What do you call it? We were in the stables. It was like the first time working with him. It was like one scene where it's just like really close corners, and he's just like standing above me, and I didn't really know him yet, so I was kind of a little, you know, terrified a little bit. But once I got comfortable and we were chilling, me and Patrick were chilling. Yeah, that's my guy.
You can tell. Okay, I'm going to move over to questions here from the press and audience watching. First up from Shonda Price for ET Canada. This question is for Idris. She says, at such an important time with the Black Lives Matter movement driving for change and ending police brutality in the U.S., how did playing the father of a troubled young Black man growing up in America resonate with you?
You know, Chandra, just to be clear, you know, we made this movie, 15 months ago, and it was before this, you know, pinnacle of awareness. But even then, it was incredibly important to us as a group of filmmakers that, you know, we tell this story of the fork in the road that you can take as a young man in this country, and what happens on one end of the fork and then what happens on the other end of the fork. And, you know, we all as a group have been talking just collectively like, wow, how poignant is this film, and particularly that central storyline to this moment right now, you know? And I'm hoping that, you know, as a result, people look back at their communities and respect the role that communities play on young men's lives, young people's lives, because oftentimes it takes a village, you know, and sometimes we might stray outside of our village only to come back to the comfort of our village. That's where we're safe. So it's interesting right now because we were just talking about this earlier, like, man, we could not have predicted this. Ricky has been working on this film for 4 years. You know, America didn't change overnight. You know, these are issues that have been going on for a long time. Even where I'm from in England, where there's a huge knife crime problem, you know, we watch a movie like this and we remind ourselves, hey, actually, yeah, there are very important lessons to be learned from telling stories like this. You know what I'm saying? So it really resonated to me. I'm a father of 2 boys, and, you know, definitely I can't wait for my youngest to see this film.
Yeah, and what I will say in the context of right now, which I don't love calling it a moment because, you know, we've all been black.
Catherine, I can't hear you, honey.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I'm
Can
sorry.
everybody hear me?
I don't hear you.
I can hear you.
No?
I
Oh,
hear you.
It's just me then.
oh, okay. What I was just going to say is that
Yeah,
I love the
I
humanity
couldn't
of
hear
the
Caleb
story.
the whole interview, by the way. No.
Really?
I'm
Oh,
sure,
no.
I'm sure you were saying some nice things,
He
but
he
Yeah, it was
said
okay. You
horrible
didn't miss
things
much.
about you.
We're gonna cut it out
Okay.
later. Don't worry.
I mean, I was just going to say some really nice things about the movie, and that I love that, you know, we need to see more human stories about Black people and Blackness that aren't necessarily about all of these big issues we're talking about, which I love about this film. Okay, another audience question from Andrea Case from CTV News. Oh, it is for Idris. So we will wait until Idris gets back. I want to actually direct this over to Lee then. This question, you know, when you watch the film, by the end of it, you're just wanting to save and preserve this community and this way of life for these people. So how do you hope the film does that?
I think I don't know. I pray that if enough people see it, they see the beauty of what these men are doing, and what these stables mean to the community and have meant to the community, and that we can keep it open. We can get it. We can fight the city to keep it open.
Yeah.
You know, at the
okay,
end of the day, this is a God. Can you hear me or no?
Yes. Go ahead.
The film is a godsend. The film is a godsend that we were able to put this film together with these incredible actors that have willing to step in for a couple of dollars to make this movie under the direction of this incredible director. And like, we ain't seen nothing like this. Like, this is something that's on some new. We have never seen a cowboy movie that takes place in a city. And I don't know, the last father son, maybe The Butler, I guess, is a father son love story that we've seen, really, where we see these two this kid and this father sort of come together. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and we should see more films like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get back to the audience questions, Idris and Caleb. Now, Idris, can you hear Caleb now?
Hey,
Caleb,
how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I can hear you.
What's up? Yeah.
I want. We keep talking about the beautiful love story between your two characters, the father and son bond that you built. So, can you talk about what was going on behind the scenes for you two to create the authenticity of that, and especially in the heated moment that happened between the two of you on screen?
Look, I would just say that this is Caleb's first movie. And I was so proud, and I think we all are, to be able to witness his performance and his stepping into some really big shoes, because it's a very big role and it's a very important one. And Caleb came in with such A, professionality, and B, vulnerability. He was really honest about where he was and how he was. So he and I fed off that. I'm a fan of his from his show and his work. And likewise, he was a fan of mine. And we just fed off that. And we use that as an opportunity to just really just like connect as actors. You know what I'm saying? Like Caleb and I, we ran scenes. We spoke about our personal relationships with our fathers. We spoke about life and love. And we very quickly, Ricky is the kind of director that if he sees the chemistry brewing, he's like, I want to shoot this. I want to shoot this. And so Caleb and I did 1 or 2 rehearsals, and they were so like in touch with what Ricky had written. We started filming that really quickly. But I just want to say, like, I'm so proud of Caleb, because this was not an easy role, and he really stepped into it like 100%. Big up.
Thank you so
Caleb?
much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm like what you just said. Like when we were on set, and that one of the most powerful scenes in the film, we sat down for about like 30 minutes just discussing it and just going over the dynamic, the relationship between the father and son, and then with the father and son relationship in the film. And then I think what helped as well is that me and Idris grew a personal bond, just Idris and Caleb, and I think that helped cultivate that feeling that you see in the film.
And that's a big thing for a young actor to say, that you're now friends with Idris Elba.
Yes, yeah. Are we friends? Are we? I mean, I wouldn't even say like friends. It's like a mentor, Like I just feel this like it's kind of hard to say friends, because but like he's like more like a mentor, like second dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
No,
like Uncle Idris. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah.
No, I love Caleb, man. He's dope and very honest and very open, and he just snapped into this role. It's mad. It's mad to watch.
Lorraine, as a veteran in this cast with like Jharrel and Caleb, who are becoming, these big heavyweights in the industry in their own right, did you pass on any advice to them? No. They got it.
They rocked it. I mean, they are proven entities and badass. So
Lorraine, don't you like what these kids is doing?
Oh, I do. I love
Don't
it.
you just love what they're doing? It's just like I wish that we all had something that they had when they were their age.
I know, this is like you kind of look at this is what we're bringing up now. This is what the world hath wrought, and they are so fierce. I mean, in when they see us and Caleb show, it's just I have nothing but mama love for these and quiet, extraordinary pride in who they are as young artists and how they're representing. And I don't just mean representing Black. I mean representing artistry.
Representing the art. Yes.
I come from an era like you, Lee, and like you, Idris, where, this was a craft. This wasn't about celebrity. This was a craft that you went the long haul for. And these young and they are bringing it, and so it was wanted to get in the sandbox with them. That was the fun. I mean, it was let's.
I wish we did more, Lorraine. I wish we did so much more.
Yeah, me too, man. I so admire your work. Truly.
Thank you.
Because these kids today, these young kids today really think that it's about just they don't think it's about the work. I've seen these kids at work, and you see their work. What has come of their work, and it's about the work, and they have put it in, and it's there, and they respect the craft, and it's
And
a
they
big difference.
show
You can see it. You can see it on screen.
They were prepared. They were they were prepared, and they brought their A game, but they came respectfully, and they came prepared. I mean, that's when you kind of go, you kind of stand on the side and go, all right.
Yeah. But you know, I really want to also, you know, these two boys, but you know, I want to just give up some props to Mills because, you know, as Ricky said, you know, Mills was very much a part of the crew and the development of this film, and then he shows up and he's in the movie. And he has a nickname. Mills, what's your nickname, bro? Tell him.
Mills Washington. That's what you called me.
I gave him that name.
You called me that.
Mills, what he would take
After
such
Denzel?
pride in every. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He would take such pride after every word he was saying. He, you know, as an actor, he wasn't playing this thing, you know, and you know. He would take such pride in every word. He would, you know, just do it again. He would have the language of the film set, like, do we need to do that again? Da, 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 da. You know, he really jumped in. So big up, Mills. You know, big up to you, man. Like, first time on film, you killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Yeah, clapping for that. Mills, were you just learning on set? Like, how did you learn that lingo and all of the things that you were just learning on the fly?
No, I was just regular. I just was look at the paper and then talk.
Mills kept us because the improvs, when we did, Ricky let us do a lot of improv.
Yes.
The black boy in the cab.
Mills is making your jobs all sound very easy.
I did.
Yeah. I have to say, one time you had me cracking up, Mills. No, I had to say one time, but everything else was great. It was fun. It was just it was fun. No, but he was like the black boy in the cab.
Next time when we meet up 1-on-1.
It sounds like a really fun set.
No, it was a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah. I had fun. I beat him with cowboy boots on, man. Basketball.
Nah, he didn't beat no.
Wow.
He didn't beat me at all.
Wow. Oh, you never told us that.
Let's not talk about that.
It was 4 a.m. I was tired. Okay. I was tired.
Did you and Jharrel win any games?
Huh?
Yeah, Dan, did you and Jharrel win any basketball games? That whole shoot? Dan and I took you guys down too.
Oh my God!
Ricky decided to go all day and tire us out. And at lunch, he was like, "Yo, let's play a 2-on-2."
Yep.
Thinking about the rest of the day, you know, I was still in Smush's head. You know what I'm saying? Smush don't ball. You know.
Very method. He's very method. Staying in it.
Cole doesn't either. He doesn't ball.
Yeah, right.
Right. So
you got that old man strength.
Yeah, you're just justifying your losses by being in character. Okay, got it. I said you guys sounded like you had a lot of fun, and clearly we're seeing that. Ricky, just going back to, I asked Lee this question just about, you know, you being a white director, taking on this story that is so important for this Black community. But yeah, you didn't have a chance to weigh in on that. So I want to talk about any hesitations you had, or you know, why you felt like you could tell this story.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fair question. I have to even take it back to give some context to it. It's not, you know, it wasn't just a kind of a story we picked off a shelf. It really did derive from relationships I had in the community. You know, I run a production company out of Philadelphia that hires adults returning home from incarceration. That's why I started the company. And so, you know, in our country, unfortunately, most people coming home from being incarcerated are Black. And so a lot of my friends, coworkers are Black. And, you know, I was living in the community, you know, right there where the stables are when I made my short film that's friends and neighbors. And I don't know, these were stories that became important to me because they were important to the people I loved. And so, you know, meeting Eric and Mil, I was very upfront that, like, I'm well aware that I have a gift as a writer and director, but I'm not a black cowboy. So I said, you know, if you guys don't tell this story with me, I can't do it. So we have to do it together. And those guys, you know, we stuck beside each other, really is important to both of us. But yeah, you know, we never imagined it would get to this stage. You know, I think when we were first talking about it, we were going to do it just all real cowboys from Fletcher Street, you know, but when Idris Elba says he wants to be in your movie, you pivot. So it got a lot bigger. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm okay talking about because obviously it's the elephant in the room and I'm okay with that. But I feel an incredible amount of gratitude that I get to call this cast, the Cowboys down on Fletcher Street, like part of my friends and family. Like they've completely changed my life and sharpened my levels of compassion and empathy for people who are so different than me. And I think that's what was really beautiful about making the movie. I think it's beautiful about putting it out is that, you know, I hope that's what art does. It changes us like inside, and making this film definitely did that. So I don't know, I'm really proud to be its director. But it's not a film by me. This was genuinely a film by all of us because every day it was a sincere effort of the community and the cast getting behind me because we had every hurdle times 10 to put this together. So it was a true just testimony to the body of all of us. So, yeah.
I think you can feel that on screen for sure. Final question, Idris. Premiering this film, I can imagine this is not what you pictured to premiere this film virtually like this. So talk about premiering this film as the star and as a producer in the middle of a pandemic.
Well, Kathleen, what you can't see just below there is a little red carpet that I just rolled out earlier. I'm just gonna do my little. I'm having my moment. I don't care. I'm having my moment. Look, you know, it just shows about the innovation of humans. You know, we're innovative. We find other ways, and one thing that we all know is that storytelling is how we become who we are, and you can't stop a good story. So, you know, I applaud TIFF, the team there for allowing this to be taken on a different form and still allowing great films to come through, great storytelling. It's a different time for all of us. I'd love to hear Lee's perspective on this as well, because he's seasoned in the way that I am. But, you know, it's a different time, but there's an interesting satisfaction that even though there's a pandemic, a story like this can still get through. You know what I'm saying? And actually, during this time, people may look at this story differently from how they may have done if this hasn't happened right now. I think people might resonate with the sense of community of this movie. I think people might resonate with the connection of the characters, not just this film, but some of the great films that are coming through TIFF. People may look at the film slightly differently, right, Lee?
And appreciate it more. TIFF, thank you for having us very much. It's an honor to be here again, this time as a producer. But yeah, I mean, y'all can't beat us down. We ain't gonna get beat down. Concrete Cowboy ain't gonna get beat down by the corona. We ain't going down like that. So we're really happy that we're able to have an audience, you know, and let's sell this movie and let's celebrate after we sell it.
Well, I'm gonna let you have the last word there, Lee, because we are out of time. Thank you all so much for your work. Thank you for this film. It was one of my favorites I've seen at the festival so far. It's truly a work of art. So thank you all.
Thank you so
I really
much.
appreciate it. It was nice. It was nice to see you all.
All right.
Nice to see you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you guys.
Good job, everyone. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you, everyone watching.
Let's watch.
Thank you, everyone, for
All right,
watching.
bro.
Yeah.